Okay, so what I want to do in this video is just kind of give a little bit of an introduction to monopolies. Monopolies are different than perfectly competitive markets. The way they're different is that there is some sort of restriction from the free entry and exit, which causes monopolies to restrict access, so there's only one seller. And so as such, they're able to charge at a different price than perfectly competitive markets. So what does a monopoly graph look like? Well, it's a little bit different than a perfectly competitive firm market. Because if you remember, on a in perfect competition, marginal revenue is equal to price. That is not the case in a monopoly. In monopoly, you have a demand curve, which is kind of like your price. And then you also have a separate marginal revenue curve. And the marginal revenue curve is 1/2 of the demand curve. Okay? And then we also have a marginal cost curve. And that is what a monopoly looks like. And then you have an average total cost curve. But the average total cost curve is not quite like in the perfect competition. Average total cost curve could be right here. It could also be right here. It's a little bit more loose. It could be all over the place. There's not like a defined position like it was previously. Okay. So I'm just gonna draw the average total cost curve right here. Doesn't have to be there, can be there. I'm just gonna put it right there. So how do we find the price, profit, quantity we're gonna produce out, etc.? Well, how do we interpret this? So, like I said, if you haven't watched the profit maximizing video, go watch it. It's extremely important because profit maximization is one of the things you just need to know for Econ 110. Ingrain it into your mind. So what is profit maximizing? It's where marginal revenue and marginal costs are going to equal each other. And that's true. Perfectly competitive firms are going to want to maximize profit, as well as your monopolies. So we look, where's marginal revenue and marginal cost equal to each other? Well, that point is right here. And so what does that tell you? That tells us the quantity in which they will produce to make as much profit as possible. So this is our quantity. How do we find the price? Well, the price is on the demand curve. And so we look, where does the quantity intersect with the demand curve? It's right here. So this will tell us the price that a monopoly will charge at. So how do we find the profit? Well, we look, where does the quantity line intersect with the average total cost curve? Intersects right here. So the price minus average total cost times quantity is equal to profit. Okay, so price minus average total cost times quantity. So this is our profit. That's how much profit Monopolies is earning. Okay. Now, there's also deadweight loss in a monopoly. So why is there deadweight loss? Well, the perfectly competitive part, perfect competition, the equilibrium point is where supply and demand meet. The demand curve is right here. So marginal cost kind of acts like a pseudo supply curve. So this is where the optimal point, this is where the market wants to be at equilibrium. And if we treat, if we treat the quantity line kind of like a tax, it kind of creates this tax wedge like we've seen before. And deadweight loss will always be a triangle. So if you could find it, your deadweight loss will be right here. This is deadweight loss. Okay. So this is just a little bit of an introduction to monopolies. Hopefully this helps. This should be just about everything you need to know. Obviously there can be market shifts and shocks to it. Like your demand could increase. And if your demand increases, so does your marginal revenue. Because your marginal revenue, so like for example, let's say my demand shifts out, then my marginal revenue will also shift out. Because my marginal revenue is 1/2 of my demand curve. And if my marginal cost goes through, then I just look for where, because it used to intersect right here, marginal revenue and marginal cost. Now it intersects right here. And so as such, this was my old price point. My new price point is right here. And et cetera, et cetera. So this should just be a good introduction to monopolies. The nice thing about monopolies is shutdown, exiting, long run decisions are the exact same for monopolies as they are for perfect competition. You follow the same logic. Use that tree that I showed. And then understanding market shocks, and then also where profit, deadweight loss, price, quantity are. And that should give you a good foundation for how to approach monopolies. As always, let me know if you have any questions. Adam out.